want to hear my opinion of the episodes in season 3 of the Twilight Zone, you came to the right place. Because I have a lot to say. I'm going to try to keep it short and not like go on and on and on about these episodes because there's some good ones. So the first one I'm going to talk about is a game of pool because Jack Klugman, he's the best. Anything he's in is great. He's amazing. This episode is such a good example of why you should never rely on external validation because your life will be a living hell. You gotta just forget about other people because your own opinion of yourself is the only thing that matters. Like, when he makes that shot, that really impressive shot, and he's all proud of himself, and then, what's his name? Fats Brown is like, okay. And then he, like, falls to his knees, and he's like, that was great. It's like, you know it's great. You don't need somebody to tell you that. And so, like, it's like he's so miserable trying to get to his goal, which is to be the best pool player. And he achieves it, but for what? Like, you have to see your own worth. You don't have to prove it to anybody. But anyway, one thing I really like about that episode is when he's describing when he fell in love with playing pool, when he walked into the bar and he says, it was cool and dark like being underwater. Like, you can really feel how he was feeling when he was like totally like taken by it. So I always like that little part where he's talking about it. Like, I just love Jack Klugman. He's amazing. That's one of my favorite episodes, by the way. It's great. The grave this episode is so funny. I really enjoy it. Like, I really like it. I love how the characters talk to each other. I love the actors in it. I love, let me say which one it is. It's the one where this guy gets killed. Like, it's like, you know, this guy gets killed in the street, like gunned down, and he says, like, he I'm not gonna explain it well, but basically the end, like, the guy on his deathbed said he's gonna kill this other guy who, like, was like trying to kill him or whatever, and he's like, I'm still gonna kill him. Like, even after I die, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna reach up from my grave and grab him and kill him or whatever. And everyone's like, oh, you need to, like, be careful because he's gonna do it. And the guy's like, yeah, right. And they're like, I dare you. And he's like, fine. And then he goes up there, and then, like, they find him the next day, and there's a knife through his cape or whatever, or cloak, and they all, like, gather up there, and they're like, oh my god, I knew it. And the dead guy's sister, who's really great, I really like her, she's, like, creepy. She's like, he did it, like, told you, huh? And one of the guys is like, no, he must have been, like, scared and put his knife in the ground to prove he was there and accidentally did it and had a heart attack because he was scared. And she's like, no, because the wind was blowing the wrong way. And then the episode ends where it's like, all right, case closed. That's what happened. And it just seems like, okay, I guess. It's just funny. Like, take my word for it. It's a good episode. It's just, like, the way it ends is just kind of abrupt. And, like, if you say so, I guess. It's funny. But, okay, the next episode is It's a Good Life with that creepy ass little kid who sends people to the cornfield. And that episode, that was one of the best episodes. The way everybody is just so freaking scared all the time. And, like, it's kind of funny because, like, if everyone was just, I mean, I understand why they're so scared because the kid's a monster, like, literally the devil, pretty much. But if they just, like, surrendered because, you know, this is their reality, if they were just, like, if they accepted it and everyone was just happy, more or less, everyone would be fine. But everyone is just scared to death all the time. It's like, what is even the point of staying alive? And the kid is like, I just want everyone to be happy all the time. And I don't know, it's just like everyone's in hell all the time because they're afraid of being in hell. And it's just awful. And the scene where it's the guy's birthday, they're celebrating the guy's birthday, and he's just like, no, this is ridiculous. Like, I can't live like this. I don't care anymore. I just want to listen to my Perry Como. And the other guy's at the piano because the little demon kid wants to hear a song on the piano. And he's playing Moon Glow. And what's really funny to me is that the Perry Como version of Moon Glow is, I don't know how many versions have this line, but I know not all of them do. But there's a line in the Perry Como version about strolling through a field. So, like, that's like foreshadowing for the guy who wants to listen to Perry Como going to the cornfield. I'm sure it was unintentional, but that's just where my mind went. But when the guy gets turned into a jack-in-the-box, that is so freaking scary. That's actually legitimately so scary. And when the one woman in particular is like horrified at it, oh my god, that's like one of the most scary scenes in the show. I love the delivery guy too, who's just like on autopilot all the time, just like, it's good that you're doing that. You'll tell him I brought the soup, won't you? Like, it's crazy. Oh my god, the episode after that, Death's Head Revisited, that is the most uncomfortable episode. Like uncomfortably scary episode. It is the most uncomfortably scary episode because it is like so realistically evil. Because this guy, he was an SS officer, and he like goes to an old concentration camp to like gleefully reminisce, and that is disgusting. Like, oh my god, it's awful. And then he sees like the ghosts of these people who were there that he tortured and everything, and like he eventually goes crazy and it doesn't end well for him, which, you know, boo-hoo. But the episode itself is just like chilling because there's like nothing fake about it. And so, you know, I mean, it shows like apparitions and stuff in the episode, but I mean, I would say like this episode isn't even fantasy, and that's what makes it just so like genuinely bone chilling. It's a really great episode, but oh my god, it's like, it's not fun. I'll put it that way. 5 characters in Search 'em and Exit. This episode is really simple, but I think it's really good. This guy is just in this big cylindrical room with these other people who are just like characters, and it seems like it could be really boring, and probably a lot of people think it's a boring episode, but I really like it. I think it has a pretty good atmosphere. It has like some of my favorite Twilight Zone background music, and the clown character is really funny. Like, I really like him. He has a great personality. And the girl who plays the ballerina, she's like she has such a dreamy quality about her, and she's just like mesmerizing to watch whenever the focus is on her. And the ending is like, oh my god. But so like nothing about it is like super profound or anything, I guess, but it's enjoyable in my opinion. Why did my phone get away from the episode list? Why did it do that? My phone's like, did you want to learn about Oliver Reed? And it's like, you know me. Okay. One more pallbearer this episode. So this guy gathers up a bunch of people who he has like held a grudge against forever, and he's gonna play a joke on them to make them think basically they're gonna die, and then he's going to like get them to apologize to him or whatever. It's like this huge elaborate over the top thing to get them to apologize to him basically. And basically they don't do it, and he's I don't know, it's like not even a good premise honestly. But the whole point is to show that he's like a total jerk and like a really bad person. And he is, but like the people that are supposed to have wronged him in a way that like you'd think wouldn't be bad because he's a jerk. I don't even remember the characters other than his teacher, his like, I don't know, second grade teacher, something like that, like a really young, he was really young when he had this teacher. She is such a bitch. I am sure he was an awful kid, but I hate this woman. Every time I see this episode, I'm like, wow, like she deserves to be here. Like she deserves so much worse than what he had planned for her. Like I can't believe her. Like she's awful. Okay, there's this part. Well, okay. So this episode has like such long-winded dialogue, like, because I'm sure Rod Serling wrote it. It's just like so over the top. And this woman, the way she has like these heavy speech, like, I don't know, she just has like these mighty things to say about what a terrible person he was as a child. And it's like, damn, chill out. Like, you were supposed to be there to guide him, and instead you're just like roasting his ass and talking about how you roasted him when he was a kid. Like, you're awful. You're a terrible person. She says, where is it? I had it up and then it, of course, it's not here anymore. But she says like all of this stuff and ends it with, or I don't think it's the end of it, but still, like, part of what she says. You know, I was trying to avoid this. She says, okay, neither sympathy nor compassion can be handed out wholesale like cheap bubble gum. Like, that's the best you can do as a teacher? That's what you have for your kids? And the thing is, like, the only thing he did, I'm not saying this is good, it's not, but when he was a kid, he cheated on a test and he gave his like crib notes to, like, he planted them on another kid. Okay, It's like normal punk ass kid behavior. You're a teacher. Help him not be like that, instead of taking him up in front of the class and telling him that he's a piece of trash in front of the class, the entire class, because that's what she did, and that's why he held a grudge. And girl, I would too. I just I do not like her, as you can tell. I'm just like, that just throws everything else out about the episode. I'm just like, that woman is I mean, I'm sure he's awful, but she's not any better. She really isn't. Anyway. To serve, man. Oh my god. This episode, oh my god. I was just talking about this the other day. I am absolutely convinced that this episode was made to be intentionally hilarious. Like, it is so absurd that it had to be made as a comedic episode. It had to have been, because it is so funny. Okay, where do I even start? Okay, when the episode starts and it shows the main character like talking about like, oh my god, we never saw this coming, and this is awful, blah blah blah, and he's like in the ship, and he's like, what time is it? And whatever, the alien guy tells him, and he's like, no, I mean, what time is it on Earth? Like there's one time on Earth, like time zones don't exist. And then he's like, oh, it's 12 noon. Oh, that's the Earth time. And it just does not get any more sensical from there in the whole episode. Oh my god, some of the highlights. Oh my god, when the Canamet arrives, well, after he, does his whole thing, he leaves a book, and then when they try to translate the book, they have like this, they go through this decoding thing, and their whole process of decoding the book, like, as if, I don't know where to start. Like, first of all, what a feat. And then, like, after like a week or whatever, this woman comes in and says, oh, we figured out what the title is. Okay, that's completely unbelievable. And then she says, like, but it doesn't help us with any of the rest of the book because these are capital letters and they're different. Lord, give me strength. And then when the Canamet is when they're trying to figure out, like, if the Canamet's being serious about them bringing all this great stuff to the Earth, they hook him up to a lie detector test, which, first of all, how on God's green earth do you think this test is going to apply the same way to this alien whose mind clearly already works differently from humans, because he's like talking through his mind in a way that we can hear? And when they show examples of lying, he's not even lying. Like, he's just like, so the example is, how did you get here? How did you get from your planet to Earth? And as the lying example, he says, walked. That's not a lie. He's giving it as an example of a lie. If that wasn't enough, how funny is it to imagine that? Anyway, there's like a lot more to say about it, but it's way funnier if you watch it. And And then when, like, the rest of the book is just suddenly translated, like, or decoded, like, it just happens way too fast. And then this woman gets, like, a postcard from her sister who's been on their planet. It's like, how would you have gotten a postcard, or, like, whatever it was, and, like, the timelines don't line up at all. And it's just like, it is so over the top ridiculous. And I know, like, sci-fi stuff is just known for ridiculous stuff, and I know that, and I love that about it, but this is like a whole different level of absurd, and I love it. It is one of the best episodes because of that. But my God, I swear to God, it's intentional. Like, please, like, like, I, I don't know. It's great. It's seriously one of the best episodes. It's so funny. Little Girl Lost. I really love the concept of that. Like, I don't really have much to say about it, honestly, but I love the different dimensions and, like, how they, you know, represented that, and had her, like, lost in this place that didn't make sense at all, and how, like, sounds didn't make sense the same way. And, you know, I don't know, it's a good episode for whatever that's worth. What else? Icing the Body Electric. I used to really not like that episode for some reason. I enjoy it now mostly because the woman who plays the grandmother, her voice ASMRs me so much. And I really like her because she plays Elsa, one of the Elsas, like one of the thousands of Elsas in the Universal Monster universe, but she plays, like, one of several Elsa Frankensteins, Wolf's wife. And, you know, you gotta love that. But, yeah, I really like her. And, okay, one thing that I'm always like, is that she promises, okay, I mean, I could like get into this, but I won't, but I will mention it. So the girl who's, like, really upset that her mom died, and she, like, says that she hates her mom because she left her, and she just assumes, like, her mom didn't love her because she said she loved her and then died. That's really sad, and that's, like, its own thing. But so the robot grandma tells the girl, like, well, I promise I will never leave you, ever. I promise. Like, I will never, ever, ever do that. And what does that bitch do? She leaves. And, like, I know it's at a point in the kid's life where she's, like, grown enough to get it and not care and be fine with it, and she's not upset when it happens. But it's like, girl, what does a promise mean to you? I don't know. Like, I get it, but whenever that happens in the episode, I'm just like, but I like it. It's a good episode. It's fine. Cavender is coming, so that episode is, like, the same as Mr. Beavis. And I know it's supposed to be because it was, like, they were trying to pitch a show, like a different show, and it didn't take off, so they were like, ugh, just run it as an episode of Twilight Zone again, like we did with Mr. Beavis. But it's good. Like, I like it. I enjoy it. Like, what's her name? Carol. What is it? Does it say on here? No, it's not. I'm just blanking on her name. Why am I doing that? Carol Burnett. She's so precious. Like, how could you not love that episode just because of her? She's amazing. So, I don't know. I really like her. that's about it for that. Changing of the Guard. That's the last episode in this season. And so this guy is a teacher, and he's been a teacher for a really long time. And basically they force him to retire, and he gets really depressed about that. And he just spirals and thinks like, I never did anything good for anyone. My life has been a waste. I've never had any kind of positive effect on anyone. Like, I am worthless. There's like no point to my existence. I should just... And then he has like this vision or dream or something where he's in a classroom. I better not cry, okay? Like I do whenever I watch the episode. Don't cry. But like he's in a classroom with a bunch of his old students, and he's just kind of confused as to why he's there at all, let alone why he's seeing all these students that he knows died. And each student tells him how he affected their lives, like in a profound or significant way. And he understands, like, okay, maybe I did have an effect, like a positive effect on my students. And he just has that like really special feeling of like feeling love for them and feeling their love. And it's just like, girl, I came here to be entertained by science fiction, not to feel feelings. It's a really good episode, okay? You're just gonna cry when you see it. I'm just warning you. So I did my best to like not go on forever and ever and ever talking about these. So there you have it. Season 3. It's really good. And that's all I got.